When rumors about Fujifilm's X-M5 first started swirling about the Fujifilm forums, a lot of people were a little bit underwhelmed at what they believed they were getting. And upon the release, I believe that I was with everyone who was kind of panning it that turned out to be shocked by all that was being included in it. This is a small, tiny pocket camera with the sensor from the X Pro 3 and the X-T4 that can now shoot 6.2K open gate with a whole bunch of other features, including the new processor that would help out with autofocus in both photo and video, and you kind of had majority of us smitten just with that. For $799, Fujifilm added things that you would have to pay upwards of $500 to $1,000 to be able to get in some of the more top-of-the-line cameras from their brands, from Lumix, from Sony. You get the point. Now, there are still people that nitpick these things, and of course, everything needs nitpicking. I'm not a Fuji fanboy. Am I a fan of not having an EVF? No, but it's $799. Am I a fan of not having IBIS if I could have IBIS? No, but it's $799. And to be honest, this little camera is absolutely astounding. I mean, especially from the video side, which is what I'm going to talk about it mostly today, because if you used an X Pro 3, an X-T4, an XS10, an X-T30 Mark II, you know exactly what the sensor is going to be. Absolutely excellent. When you pair it with small lenses like this Voigtlander 18mm color scope R, it's going to continue to be excellent. But from the video side, what Fujifilm was able to do with this amazing f-log2 gamma curve that is in its more higher end cameras from the GFX lineup all the way to the X-H2S, which is their Super 35 camera, but you have 6.2K open gate, which openly welcomes the use of anamorphic lenses, as well as a litany of other aspect ratios, 4K 60, and just a whole bunch of other features that make this perfect for if you're working in actual content and digital media creation. If you're a business owner and you want to get started making things yourself, this is kind of what you should be investing in. So as you can see, I like the camera. I was very hesitant on using it. And honestly, it took so long for me to review this because I thought I wouldn't like the camera. Fujifilm did send me a copy about a month and some change ago. And I liked the camera so much though, that I bought 2 copies for myself. One to always have rigged and one to just have for some run and gun leisure stuff. And I feel like it's been a good choice for me. So I want to take you through my pros and my cons though, so that you don't feel like you're held hostage until the end of the video to find out what I didn't like about it. I'm actually going to start off and just tell you what the cons are right away, because there are plenty of cons with this camera. God, look at how small that is. Maybe my hand's just big. First thing is, I just hate when Fujifilm gets a smaller camera, they completely brick their button layout. Some of these buttons could have been larger, could have had a little bit more feedback, could have been a little bit more raised to where you can actually feel if you're hitting something accidentally. And because they're not, I feel like I had a couple of smushes. But the buttons are weird on where they're placed. I'm not really a fan of the backside layout. Fujifilm, I'm kind of hoping that maybe you fix that. I would honestly prefer if you remove the joystick and add just a little D-pad again. That would make everything easier. It would also give us access to more custom functions. And I think with a camera this small, that's kind of what you need. Another con is the old battery. This is a cheap way to go, honestly. And it feels more like they're just trying to segment their cameras now. I don't like this. It's not because this battery isn't good. I got a lot of shots, a lot of footage, nothing was dying. But the issue that I have with these batteries is now if I'm someone who also uses an X-T5 like I do, or a GFX camera, I don't have a single battery across the plane, and again, that is just frustrating. Next, we have this really stupid, in my opinion, film simulation dial. I think this is a dial that not only is useless to people that are buying this as their second cam, their B cam, their crash cam, their walkabout camera, and you've been using Fujifilm or are a little bit more advanced in photography, but this is something that as you grow in photography, this becomes useless to you. And Fujifilm, I hope you're listening. I appreciate you sending me this camera, but this is the dumbest thing you've ever done. And it's something that completely just kind of insults every photographer that uses it. Because what this should be is either a mappable little dial, or the dial that used to be on the X-T30 that had the different scenes, modes, whatever it is, or just a complete custom function button, or just remove it, because this is a waste of space. Hear me out, I get it, it's for beginners to be able to find out what film simulations that they like. And you know, oh, once they start learning how to make custom film simulations, they can actually do it themselves. But here's the issue. When you buy a Fujifilm camera, you've either already heard about film simulations you can create on Fuji X Weekly or from other places, or you are going to watch videos from Reggie Ballesteros, from Fuji X Weekly, the guy himself, or from Sir, or hundreds of thousands of other people that have been making videos about JPEGs that make me stop shooting RAW. So there are going to be very few, if any, people that are just only going to be fine with these 3 custom film simulation dials. If this was a full, 1 through 10 or whatever it is of film simulations, I would get it. but because it's these little ones that it just get rid of this. It's not working, wasn't good in the first place. And the last thing, which I've heard people explain to me on why they did it, but it still doesn't make any sense. It's this damn HDMI port over here on the grip side on the right side. And now a lot of people will say, oh, they did that so that, you know, it's not blocking the flippy outy screen. Only I need you to hear that. You're telling me you didn't put this on this side with the flippy outy screen, the HDMI port, because while using the HDMI port, people don't want to block their screen so they can view themselves. Think about that. You're using the HDMI port and you don't want to block your screen to view yourself while using the HDMI port. Who the f is going to plug in a monitor and still use this instead of the monitor? I don't know how I could tell you how to do your job. This was stupid. If people are using the HDMI port and they're using a monitor, they're not going to be flipping it out and thinking like, oh, here's my big ass monitor. Let me look at myself in that little screen. That's not going to happen. Okay. Like seriously, who let that pass by? That was dumb as shit. Let's go into what I like now. So really quickly, I'm gonna run through these, but the size and the weight of this camera is honestly something I truly love. This can be a portable camera as much as you want it to be. A pocket cam, jacket cam, small bag cam. You can add a grip on it from SmallRig if you want more, or you can run it raw dogged like this. Just put on a small 18mm color scope R. This thing right here is fantastic. This right here can be made into as small as you want it to be and still have autofocus or great image quality. Of course, the video and the F-Log2, the gamma curve on this are fantastic, but what I really like about this is the ability to rig this camera up. And I have a video that you can go watch about how I rig this up. But the fact that it's so small and I can strip it down just like this and use it and be fine with it, but I can also rig this up to be everything that I need to be whenever it comes to shooting for clients. With an Atomos recorder, a Blackmagic recorder, being able to shoot in RAW directly from this HDMI is fantastic, even in 6.2K open gate, with the ability to be adding on extra grips, batteries, microphones, etc. Because it's so small, you can add so much for it, and it's absolutely killer whenever it comes to what this can become versus when it's stripped down what it is. This reminds me so much of the Sigma FP, a camera that I love so much that shot internal 12-bit RAW. This is a little bit lighter version, but the kind of feeling is still there. And I think that's why I gravitate to this so much. And the last thing that I love about this camera, there's a lot of them, but this is one that I really love, is the price. And I know I've harped on it and everyone's going to bring it up. I'm like, yes, we get it. It's $799. Yes, but it's $799 at 6.2K open gate that you could potentially even, think about this, you can buy 3 of these with some lenses, whether they're cheaper cinema glass, whether they're adapted glass like I'm shooting on right now with the Helios 44M, or Fujifilm lenses that are on the, more cheap side, whatever it is. You can get a full kit of these for under $3,000 to where they're your own, and you purchase them to be an A cam, a B cam, and a crash cam, or a kind of prop cam, whatever it is. And if you want to record RAW, you can get a couple of these and instead invest in an Atomos Ninja V and have 2 RAW shooting cameras to be your A cam and B cam for documentary, for commercial work, etc. This just opens you up to so much more that you can do, especially because you can output raw video on this. So love that for the price, because for one of these and an Atomos Ninja V, I think even brand new, it's still cheaper. Listen to me, still cheaper with the Atomos kit that comes with everything basically you need, with the battery, with a charger, with the I think a 1 terabyte SSD drive or 500 gigabyte SSD drive. You can get that, those 2 things, this camera all mixed together, and it's still cheaper than an XS20 with a kit lens. Let that sink in. And kind of what this camera does for me is it makes a no excuse camera. This is becoming my, okay, I'm gonna go and shoot something cinematic or get B-roll for YouTube or just record family camera. This is becoming my, I don't have an excuse to not have a camera with me camera. Like whenever I had my Nikon Coolpix A or my Ricoh GR3, because of the size, because I can slap this 18mm on here and just be fine. The microphones on this work perfect as well with whenever it comes to directional, and it picks up pretty good audio. Not as good as if I had my Sennheiser MKE200 on here, which isn't that big, but again, it's just one less thing for me to carry. And it's not even all that uncomfortable. I mean, it's right up there with comfortability whenever it comes to the GR3 and the Nikon Coolpix A, and those weren't the best, but you just kind of get over it. I have big hands and it doesn't hurt me either, so I'm not sure why people gripe about any of those cameras, because honestly, if you wanted to use it, you would. Or what does that go? If he wanted to, he would. Whatever. Anyway, with all that being said, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming with this camera. I planned on this being short. I doubt it's going to be short. Hopefully it's short. If I'm under 10 minutes, yay. If I'm over, please, forgive me. But with all that being said, take it light, but take it. And have a good one.